Hey y'all, hi. It's time for another episode of New Makeup Hot Takes. I was about to say it's January. It's not. It's February. It is the new year. What's going on in the new year? The passionate and frenetic flush of the holiday season has faded. How are we left now as a community, as makeup lovers, as an industry? How are we faring? That is, in essence, what I'll be discussing today. If you like it, I hope you will subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. New makeup, hot takes. New makeup, hot takes. I have to say it feels very good to be in a strong lip look. This is my all-time favorite lipstick in my all-time favorite lipstick formula. It's Merit's Satin Signature Lip in the shade 1990. And Merit has once again created a custom discounted set of the 5 key products that I'm wearing on my face today. And they're sponsoring me to show you the application process and talk a little bit about the look. So to get this look today, I started with Merit's Great Skin Instant Glow Serum, which has been my go-to skin prep step in the depths of this winter. You can see I've really made a dent in this bottle. I have been leaning heavily on this product to wake up my skin and moisturize dry patches. When I use it, I don't get any of those little dry spots on my skin. I find that just one pump is the perfect amount under makeup. I love the Minimalist because it replaces both foundation and concealer, and the finish is undetectable as makeup. That's my dream. I'm mixing the 2 lightest shades, which are Chantilly and Ceramic. In terms of color cosmetics, the key to this look is the pairing of these natural neutral browns. They're so good. The Flush Balm is a cream tint, so it looks very lit from within, especially in this color Bespoke. It's one of Merit's new colors and my favorite Flush Balm color so far. And of course, this lip is the true focal point. It's nourishing, it's lightweight, it's a true lipstick, but without being overly pigmented. And 1990 is an effortlessly chic brown that doesn't pull orange. And then of course, Merit's Clean Lash Mascara. I like to wipe off the brush and go in layers for a very natural, fluffy, tinted lash. So you can get a discount on my custom set through the link in the description box below, plus free shipping on all orders over $40 and a free signature bag on all first orders. I love working with Merit. In my opinion, in my makeup universe, this brand has taken the beauty world by storm, basically, and they have their finger entirely on the pulse of what is desirable in formulas, in colors, in packaging, and like the overall aesthetic of the brand. Everything is impeccable. The Merit team is always innovating, and frankly, it's such a joy to just see what they do. So thanks, Merit, for working with me again. I couldn't feel better or more myself than I do in this makeup. And now, let us discuss some makeup in which I might not feel good or myself, or maybe it's good. I don't know. We'll find out together. What is this? Is it cookies? So the first thing, we're going in reverse chronological order, as I always do, as I usually do on the Trend Mood Instagram account. Trend Mood posts about new makeup releases. The thing at the very top right now, so the most recently announced, the freshest piece of beauty news. First of all, this is fall 2025, which is just unacceptable. We just had fall. To be announcing, sneak peeking, a piece of makeup for fall 2025, it's beyond, it's too much, it's extraordinarily bizarre. We do not have capacity to be planning that far, okay? I mean, on the other hand, if these colors, if everyone's looking to Chanel to see what they're going to be releasing and then they're following in the footsteps of this, I endorse, okay? I support that because the colors is all I have to say that's good about this. I mean, it's just weird. The prints, maybe they're trying to be like embossing on a Chanel bag, at least the one in the bottom left-hand corner is. To me, they very much look like cookies, and it's because they're brown. It's because of the colors, but the colors, this is what I'm all over the place. The colors and textures, I actually kind of want it. Let me tell you something that's true. By the time that fall 2025 rolls around, am I going to remember this? No, I will have forgotten about it by next week. So that's fine, right? Even though I love the colors and I kind of want it, this is like the perfect eyeshadow palette to me. The one in the bottom right-hand corner, are you even kidding me? me. I could have designed it color-wise, except for the light gold one, I'm not really into that, but the other three, yes. But why did they choose this weird cookie embossing that makes it look a little bit distasteful, a little gross to me? I don't know, a brown chocolate cookie, like chocolate that might melt. I don't know what it is quite about it that unnerves me, but it just unnerves me a little bit. But this is a normal Chanel quad with those domed baked shadows. I actually might be putting like a calendar reminder on in October 2025 to try to remind myself to track it down and get it. But as it stands, it seems like something maybe AI generated. I mean, I don't think it is, but it kind of seems like AI projecting what might be released in fall of 2025 by Chanel. And you know how AI, when it does something like this, it makes a lot of valid points. You can kind of see where it's coming from, but it's never quite right. There's always something a little bit off, almost as if there's a human intelligence lacking, almost as if that it's just a synthesis of a bunch of available information and there's a lacking human spirit to kind of check and balance and make sure everything really makes sense. You know, like that's what happens when AI generates a thing, and that's how this feels to me. There's just something a little bit too much like a cookie. Okay, Isamaya in Sephora. I have for you only one question. Are those penis lipsticks going to be there? Am I going to be able to go into Sephora and handle one? I kind of think not. I think maybe it was a problem for Sephora. They were like, we want to carry Isamaya, but we don't want that. Unfortunately, like it looks like what they've done is created a new line of Isamaya products, or Isamaya, even after all these years. I don't know. Oh, trend mood. Isamaya Beauty also coming to Sephora. Googly eyes, praise hands, goodbye money emoji. I don't know. I feel like what it is that's always compelled me about this brand, it's always been the luxury camp execution. Those lip balms and lipsticks are amazing. You know, very high-end feeling. They're very expensive. It's like luxury makeup, fully embracing this shocking artistic campiness and celebration of fetish. It looks from this imagery as though there's had to be some kind of compromise between the creator and Sephora to retain that a little bit based on it seems like they're leaning into the like cosmetic surgery of it all. So retaining that edginess, exhuming some of the more risque aspects of it, and also probably cheapening things like the packaging, like the quality. And you would probably think then also the formulas, because it's kind of an indicator, right? So sadly, it's like everything that made the brand so interesting and compelling, which was the twinning of that extreme luxury quality packaging and carefully considered formulas with deep exploration of fetish through a camp lens. Both of those things have been sort of taken from a 10 down to a 3 in order to put the brand in Sephora. I'm just guessing based on the announcement, right? That is what has happened. And that, like, it just kills it to me. Maybe, though, the formulas will be really good and none of that packaging will matter, because all of what I've been discussing, it doesn't have anything to do actually with the execution of the formulas themselves. And my personal experience with this brand is that there was one product that I really, really loved, which was the Black Veil lip gloss or whatever. So formula-wise, that sold itself to me. And then the eyeshadow palette I really, really disliked. Ultimately, whether I end up liking and using something, it's almost entirely about the formulas. So maybe all of that stuff that I was talking about won't end up mattering because some of the formulas will be really good of what ends up in Sephora. But overall, it's a little bit like, oh, Isamaya and Sephora. Oh, but they've just swept everything off the table and built something much less exciting from scratch in order to launch it there. And that's my hot take. Fenty, I had to talk about this. You know, Fenty was so compelling and truly had gripped my heart back at the beginning when the brand launched. And then it's just gone on and on and on and on and slowly kind of fallen off of my radar. Fenty is releasing like the exact thing that is the thing that I have been reviewing from every brand I could get my hands on over the past year and maybe even more than a year. It's a gloss stick. It's a gloss stick version of the Gloss Bomb, that iconic product that I loved so much back in the day. There's a brown one. It's the hot chocolate, the version of hot chocolate. And honestly, even the rose nude. Oh, I think it's Fenty Glow. Both Fenty Glow and hot chocolate in this formula look amazing. They look really sparkly. As a reviewer, with my context of having reviewed so many of this type of thing and having a long history with the original formula of this thing, the lip gloss version, the Gloss Bomb, I can't help but feel like it would behoove us all for me to try one of these and talk about it. If I didn't have this work and I was just me in the world with my history of relationship with the Gloss Bomb, etc., I would wait for reviews of this. I would actually probably wait until I could swatch it in store, try it on my lips in store, like really try it before jumping in and getting one. Because the level of sparkle that these images indicate, it's intense. It's intense and it could kind of go either way, I feel. RHODE coming to Sephora, Hailey Bieber's brand. My only thought about this is that hopefully it means that things will be in stock and you can get them. Because I tried to go get the lip liners. Actually, I had this pulled up to talk about later, but I'll scoot it over and talk about it now. They are in stock, so maybe Hailey made a better plan this time. They are in stock. They're beautiful. I really want to try one or two. I've loved everything I've tried from this brand, frankly. And if I'm going to place an order from RHODE, like a whole own order from RHODE, just with 2 lip liners in it, then I'm also going to get the other thing I want, which is the Barrier Butter, but it's sold out. Probably because everybody had my same feeling. When the Barrier Butter launched, they were like, oh, I want to try that, but I'll wait until the next time I place an order from RHODE. Then when these launched, they were like, okay, I'm ready to place my order and get my Barrier Butter. And then it sold out, even though these hadn't. Maybe when it's in Sephora, you can just go to Sephora and place the order. And it won't be like this. It won't be this dancing negotiation. It won't be this dramatic scarf dance between Hailey Bieber and me. Speaking of, Kylie Cosmetics lip butter. I never talk about Kylie Cosmetics. It's just not on my radar, really. But this, once again, it's the exact kind of thing that I'm really into reviewing lately. I really have kind of a library now over here in my brain of this kind of thing. But the funny thing, the true hot take, the absurd hot take that I had about this was it seems like she's copying Hailey, even though she was here first. I mean, this product wasn't here first, but I saw this and my immediate reaction was like, oh, toasted marshmallow lip butter. That just seems like something Hailey Bieber would do. Kylie Cosmetics was here for years before Hailey Bieber. And who's to say she wouldn't have made a thing like this if Hailey hadn't, because this kind of thing is all over the world, coating the universe. Toasted marshmallow lip butter is coating the earth and dripping down. Who can blame her? Do you think it's good? Or is it probably bad? If you know anything about Kylie Cosmetics, tell me what you think. Okay, this is a great example of the kind of thing, an experience of getting really excited and then screwing my head back on straight and then talking myself down off the ledge, okay? Glow Recipe is launching color cosmetics, and I always kind of get excited when a skincare brand pushes into makeup. Not so necessarily the other way around. When a makeup brand, they're suddenly like, oh, and we also released a cleanser. I'm like, good for you. But when a skincare brand is like, oh, all this time we've also been working on just adding some color into a skincare formula that will work on your cheeks as blush, I'm like, oh, tell me more. Put it on my face, please, you know? So that's what they've done, and the packaging is really beautiful. I also have a recent positive experience with Glow Recipe because I decided to try the Niacinamide Glow Drops because they did that video, Lauren Mae Beauty made me buy it, and I actually really like them. And this looks just like that. It looks like the blush version of that. So of course my little magpie lizard brain is like, oh, it's the makeup version of a thing that I really like. Ding, 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 ding. I should get it. And that's what I felt like at first when I saw this. And then I was like, Hannah, it's a serum blush in a bottle with a screw top. Practically, that isn't what I like. I like to be able to take a lid off and put it right on. Like, you know, this is the kind of thing that I like. This is the kind of color, right? These browns. Here we have pink, 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 and more pink, it appears to be. Oh, it's just 2 shades, just 2 pinks. Everything about it is wrong for me. Everything about it would be bad to me. I can already tell without reviewing it. Even the serum-y formula is just not what I like. I tricked myself. At the very beginning, it tricked me, or I tricked myself. I was like, oh, ooh, ooh, yes, yes, yes. And then I was like, wait a second. No, no, no. Lawless, Forget the Filler, Plumping Line Smoothing Foundation. I don't know, right? I can't tell from these fuzzy images if the lightest shade will be anywhere close to light enough for me, if it'll truly be neutral. What it actually looks like is that the lightest shade is kind of pink and dark on the model. The swatch looks okay, but on the model, I don't know. All I have to say, my singular hot take, is that to go from having a plumping line smoothing lip gloss called Forget the Filler, to go from that into foundation and also call it Forget the Filler Plumping Line Smoothing, that is a brilliant marketing move. It's so correct that it makes me laugh. And it's also because it's just a little bit silly. Like, forget the filler, our foundation will plump your face up. It feels strangely old school to me. Like, it just has, and I don't know. It makes me giggle. I'll follow its future career with very mild interest, a very small amount of interest. Okay, scandal, red alert. Charlotte Tilbury plastic eyeshadow compact. Now, we're getting into the part of the video. I perhaps unwisely watched Haute Mess Tom's most recent episode of Critical Sass, an hour-long version of New Makeup Hot Takes. Basically, it's their version of New Makeup Hot Takes. It was unwise, perhaps, for a couple of reasons. One, Tom's Critical Sass outshines this measly video, like what I am doing here, what I am attempting to deliver to you here. What I am doing is like a puff of stale air compared to the glory that is Critical Sass with Haute Mess Tom. If you are enjoying this, even in the slightest, this video that you see here now, you are not living your life if you are not also watching Critical Sass from Haute Mess Tom every time they release one, especially this most recent one. Just at large, watching it made me feel like weak and small and like a worm. Okay, so just for your sake, after this video is over, go and watch that one, which I will of course link in the description box below. And the other reason it was possibly a mistake is that Tom has some really well-informed, deep and thorough takes on some of the products that I'm about to get to. That's like beyond what I know and could know. If my takes are just hot takes, these are like takes with recipes that stewed on the stove for a really long time and then got finished in the oven, perfectly seasoned, you know? So it's hard for me now to necessarily see what I see. I also see Tom's takes on some of these things, and I'll tell you which ones they are. My quick boiling hot take on this is that it's an attempt to do what Dior did with Dior Show that has totally failed, because from what I can see, these look cheap. These look cheap. The way that the plastic lid is constructed looks really bad. I mean, I think it's partly that it's thin plastic that curves around, whereas Dior Show, I don't have my palette up here. I wish I did, but you know what it looks like. It's thick acrylic, and not only is the lid a single thick piece of acrylic that's like flat to the base, but the base is also acrylic. So it looks designed, and even though it's not falsely weighted and made to seem heavier and more luxe than it actually is, because a lot of makeup packaging is just plastic, you know, but it'll have like weights in it to make it heavy so that it seems fancy. Even though they didn't do that, I like it better than some of that faux luxury packaging because it's so fully designed and it has rounded edges. We're talking still about the Dior packaging, the Dior Backstage, like the slightly less expensive Dior makeup line. It has those rounded edges. It just is very satisfyingly designed as a piece of Dior makeup, and I really, really, really like handling it, looking at it. I really like it. This, it's like, oh, Dior managed to launch plastic looking packaging and still make it luxury, so we can do it too, but the execution is so far from that designed product that Dior launched. So far from that. It just looks, it's like this matte plastic looking bronzy rose gold, these thin compact covers. This had better be way less expensive than regular Charlotte Tilbury makeup, but even then that sort of cheapens it too, whereas I feel like the Dior, it's like more affordable than the most high-end, the classic, the original Dior line, but it's still expensive. That's still like an expensive eyeshadow palette, so it still feels luxury in every single way. Just slightly more accessible, attainable luxury for some people. Whereas if these are like cheap, if they're as inexpensive as they look like they should be, I don't know. It just, the whole thing seems like a flop to me. And even the color stories are bad. Dior, speaking of Dior Skin Forever Glow Luminizer Gel-Based Powder Highlighter. This looks so much like Anastasia Moon, what was it called? Moon Glow? The original luminous, iridescent, shifting, multicolored highlighter from like 2016, y'all. 2015 or 2016. Basically 10 years later, Dior's like, we think they'd buy it, if they want it, think they'd like that. Okay, Tom's take on the Pat McGrath thing, this glass skin, which really just looks like latex doll skin, honestly, to me, is much more historical, fully informed than mine. My take on this is just like, who is wearing this? Who? It's a peel-off mask. Is it skincare? Yes. But if you're gonna mask for the reason of skincare, is this gonna be the most nourishing, the healthiest thing you can put on your skin for $38? No, absolutely not. Because a lot of what has been put into this, a lot of what there is about it that is part of the design of it is to make it look like this latex face, right? There are so many skincare masks that have only one goal, which is to nourish your skin, that are therefore way more effective at that than I think think this probably is less expensive, frankly, than the $38. If you just need a face mask for your skin to give it a boost, this is out, right? If that's all you're looking for. It's only in if you want to look like this. And who wants to look like this? Except for a photo shoot or something. But that just seems like a very specific demographic of people. I kind of want to try it. I'm probably not going to. It makes me want to try it. Like, I say for a small demographic of people, that includes people who make YouTube videos or like, WTF, this thing, why did this, is it good? OMG, I actually loved it. You know, like, that's my job. So I could get it and do that. But I don't even want to do that. Look at it. It just looks like a mess. It looks like a mess. Okay, Natasha Denona blushes, a cream blush and a highlighter. I really love Natasha Denona formulas. The last time I tried out a bunch of her products seriously in a video for review, my takeaway was, wow, the cheek, the really glossy cheek. Nobody does it like her, kind of like a really glossed up cheek and a cream with a powder over it. The voltage of that, you know it's going to be amazing. And you know it's going to be amazing in Natasha Denona's formulas. So I really want there to be a color here that works for me. There's this one picture of all the compacts closed. One of them looks gray and one of them looks really, really pale. And one of them looks really dirty mauve. You know, if these were the actual colors, then I would buy half of them. I fear that they're all that kind of pinky, either like light, strong pink or dark, strong pink or kind of reddish magenta. And then the reddish magenta ones have a gold. The highlighter would be dark gold. I just fear that none of them, not a one of them would work for me. They're all too similar in color. Natasha Denona has never released a blush or a blush palette or a blush compact or a cheek makeup of any kind, really, that I can happily use color-wise. I'm still waiting. And yeah, Tom's take on that was they're all pink as well. I think we have similar blush needs. I agree. I don't object as much as Tom did to this funky, squeezy accordion spurt tube of the Makeup Forever packaging, because here's why. Because these kinds of dropper bottom things, the Surratt one, the Rituel de Fille one, they're so difficult to use because usually it's hard packaging that goes up the sides and then there's this little rubber bump on the top that you have to push down into the tube of the hard packaging. And if you have a nail, it's really hard to do that because usually the surface area isn't big enough. I've struggled so much with the one from Surratt and the one from Rituel de Fille. This wouldn't have that problem because the whole butt end of it depresses like a little round accordion and your thumbnail can just be free floating in space as you press it down. So I actually feel like this is something with which I could work. The lightest shades look frightfully peach. Frightfully peach. Maybe it's just the imagery. That's off-putting to me. Yeah, even the models, shade 1, shade 2, shade 3. No ma'am. It's starting in the middle of the shade range as far as I'm concerned. This is aligned with what I perceived to be maybe a Makeup Forever rebrand. In the last New Makeup Hot Takes, I feel like this is more evidence that they're going this direction. I personally kind of like it. I kind of like this styling, this Makeup Forever styling. That's it. That's all I have to say. Those are all of my hot takes. There's nothing that I really want right now, right? There's nothing that really compelled me. Maybe these are the doldrums. I feel like New Makeup Hot Takes at the very beginning of the year, there was still a spark of excitement. There were a bunch of things that were sort of calling to me in early January. Now here I'm like, I'm all right. Honestly, the thing that elicited the strongest reaction from me was that weird Chanel quad that's not launching until the fall of this year. So I think we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right for another month or two. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I really hope that you are taking extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.